passed out at her appointment. And it was month end, and I was counting on her because she was my top producer. I'm like, and finally someone answered the phone, and they're like, do you know Franny? I'm like, yes. Like, she's in the ambulance. I'm like, oh my God, she's in the ambulance. What happened? She's like, I don't know. I think she got really nervous and she passed out. I'm like, what? And I got on the phone like, Franny, are you okay? She's like, yeah, babe, I'm okay. I don't know what happened. I passed out, but don't worry. I closed and they're joining the team. I'm like, dude, you're freaking awesome. So guys, even passing out didn't stop this girl. That's the mentality. And she's going to share some nuggets with you right now on what does it take to win. And then we got the amazing Heckler Mark, guys, that's going to jump on and just let it rip. So make sure you tell your people to jump on the Facebook Live, because this one's going to max out at 1,000. If they have to jump on the Facebook Live, we'll put the link on the chat group for you can have this. But Franny, share with us, my love, what does it take to be a winner in this economy, in this time, right? That, man, some people, unfortunately, are going through tragedies. They really are, but they need that beacon of light that you are, my love. You're a trainer, you're a coach, you're a leader, but you're also a wife. You're also a mother. You're also a follower of Christ. And so share with us, how do you do it all?
Man, Mario, thank you so much for that introduction, babe. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to live up to that introduction. But no, honestly, you know, just seeing all the winners today get recognized is what inspires me, Mario, to keep getting better, to keep growing as a leader. And you know how you were saying, you know, I joined the business at 18. So there was definitely so many changes I had to do, so many things that I had to, you know, be, what's the word? I had to be, comfortably uncomfortable, if that makes sense. We have to constantly be changing, getting better, you know, evolving. And leadership, right? For those of you who are fairly new or you've been here, you know that leadership is a big part of this business. And, you know, thank God that our coaches and our leaders put us in front of great leaders and told us, hey, you have to self-improve, you have to get better, you know, put us in front of amazing mentors, right? And one of our mentors from afar at that point, which now we're so blessed to call our friend, is John Maxwell, which is the epitome of leadership writer, right? And so just learning things about leadership, you know, has gotten us to where we're at today, Mario. And if you have the word leader behind your contract, you know, this is something that you have to apply to your life, and not even district leader, Mario, because I really believe it starts when you first start. You know, when I first started, I had absolutely no experience. I never had a job, right? I never had experience in leading. So coming into an arena like this, I knew right away, okay, I have to change. I have to get out of my comfort zone. And we always hear leading from the front, right? Who's ever heard of that? Raise your hand. Leading from the front, leading by example. What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? It's how you provide evidence that you are personally committed to your business. Okay. And don't lead from the front. Don't personally produce to just make money. Lead from the front and personally produce training and developing other people. Okay. Don't waste your time and just go personally produce and make money, guys. At the end of the day, you're here to build an organization. You're here to, you know, have freedom one day. And the only way that's going to happen is by leading from the front, right? When you recruit people, when you bring people onto your team, what is it that they look for, right? Have you ever wondered, why does that person have a team? And maybe why don't I have a team, right? So the things that people look for, Mario, and people, is that it's leadership, it's leading from the front. And when they see that from you, that makes them want to follow you. Okay. I don't know if you've ever seen someone who's had a ginormous team that doesn't lead from the front. And if you get lucky enough, and that happens, that you happen to find a superstar, it's going to be very temporary before they start looking for leadership elsewhere. Okay. So leading from the front is very, very important. You know, Mario and I don't have to continue necessarily writing personnel sales, you know, recruiting directs, but why do we do it? Because we want to stay relevant. We want to keep being a great example to you guys and showing that we ourselves are committed to this team. You know, we're not asking you guys to do something that we're constantly not doing. And obviously it's different. You know, we have a massive organization. We spend a lot of our time, you know, mentoring and helping a lot of you guys to get you to the next level, but we still continue to personally lead from the front, right? We want to stay relevant. We want to keep our hands in the field to know what it's like, to know what you guys are dealing with on a personal basis, right? I know that, and Dave, when you shared this about Helen, it inspired me so much, because I remember those days when I was about to pop, right? We have two beautiful boys, and I remember growing up in the business when we didn't have kids yet. And a lot of people would tell us like, oh, well, just wait until you have kids. You know, you guys can dedicate all this time to your business because you don't have kids. And to be honest with you, I started listening to it. Why? Because we're conditioned to think a certain way, right? We're raised to think a certain way, to think, hey, you know, of course, when your kids come around, your business is going to dip, right? It's normal. Don't worry about it. And I chose not to listen to that because it was a lie, right? I knew that as a mother, of course, it was going to take a lot more energy, a lot more work, maybe a little bit less sleep, you know, raising babies, and at the same time, making sure that I stayed and I remained a co-CEO with my husband, right? And I've shared this story multiple times that at one point I said, you know what, I don't have to grow. I don't have to continue getting better. And that was not a fun place to be for me as a wife, right? As a business partner, because I started getting bitter, right? And as much as I wanted to deny that I needed to, I knew deep down inside of me that the only way that you have true happiness, right, is when you continue to make progress, right? So we're conditioned to think, we're raised to think a certain way, but I was misled. And it takes just one decision that you make saying, no, that's not going to happen to me. And when we had our first baby, right, we had just crossed 200,000 in income. And within 6 months of that, we were at 400,000. Now, was that easy? Absolutely not. Was it worth it? Of course it was, right? I would do it over and over again, right? And one thing that I knew right away that I had to eliminate was excuses. You know, one time, I can't even remember what excuse I was trying to give. Maybe I had a long night, right? No sleep. And I had called Susan. I said, Susan, I'm not going to be able to make it, you know, to full timers. I'm so tired. I can't be there. You understand, right? You have girls. She's like, Franny, you have to remember that the moment you give an excuse, you will forever have to take that from your team. And I said, is that something I'm willing to do? I said, no, I'm going to get my butt up and I'm going to go to the office, right? Because I'm a leader. There's people counting on me. When you decide to be a leader, you are no longer in that equation. You can no longer make decisions based on you, based on your feelings. You have to do what is required. Okay. So I had a no excuse mentality. Okay. And those of you who know me, you know, Franny might be a tough butt, right? If I have to call Franny, I'm probably going to get my butt kicked, right? But it's because I love you guys and it comes from a good place. And I never gave those excuses, so I don't take them. And there's no reason why. There's a reason why we had the growth that we had. And it wasn't because I was making excuses, right? People would tell me, Franny, but you don't understand. My kids are my priority, right? And they're not mine. Absolutely, they're my priority. And that's why I do it. And that's why I show them, you know, what it looks like to be committed and what it looks like to have dedication to something. I'm teaching them that hard work pays off, right? And does that make me a bad mother? No. We might get that mom guilt and we might be made feel guilty by other people around us, but it's because they themselves are not willing to do what you're doing for your family that they try to make you feel guilty. I knew that if I was at a job, right, I would still have to be 8 to 10 hours away from my kids, right? And having my children was the biggest blessing, Lita, because I did not realize how much time I was wasting every single day. Telling myself, lying to myself, making myself believe that I was doing what I had to do. No, I wasn't. I was just staying busy. I was making excuses. I was lying to myself, right? Oh, I'm busy. No, I was just busy. I wasn't being productive, right? So when I had my kids, I was like, hey, if I'm going to be away from my kids for 4 hours a day, right? I'm going to make sure that I get my stuff done. Right. And when I got home, that didn't mean I shut off my phone. That didn't mean I no longer answered the phone for the team. No, I worked around it, right? Primerica is our lifestyle, but that does not mean that you neglect your kids, that you neglect your faith. No, absolutely not. And if you're using that, now you're hiding behind the cross. You're hiding behind your children. You're hiding behind your marriage. And if you really think about it, those are the reasons why you need to win. Every church needs more money, right? I've never seen a church that sent back a check, right? Obviously your family can use the money, right? So all the reasons that you're using as to why you can't build your business and why you can't stay focused and determined for a period of 3 to 5 years and give it absolutely everything you got is the reason why you need to go win. Right, guys? So if you can just change your perspective, change your personality, your life will change, guys. And the last thing I want to share with you guys is this. And I know I can't be the only one that struggled with it, but I had a very big ego, and I still do. I just learned how to manage it better, right? Very big ego. And when I always had to be right, whether it be with my husband, whether it was with my team, whether it was with my family, when I had to be right and I had to win the argument, guess what? I noticed that I wasn't being loved, right? Because I always had to be right. So ask yourself, do you want to be right or do you want to be loved? Right? And most of the time we're only seeing things from our point of view. We're only seeing things from our perspective. But when you can learn to look at it from their perspective, it will change. I promise you. Okay, guys. And if you're in a leadership position, there is no room for ego, none. Because guess what? Every time that we were right, we were losing people.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally, I'm like, how many amazing people did we lose throughout the years because we had to be right? Right? And that's something that if you can learn to nip in the butt, the sooner the better, guys. It will make your life easier. You're going to be happier. People are going to love you. Right, guys? And I'm a very reactive person. I have to react and I have to say what I feel and I have to tell them, guys, that does not go well with building relationships, loving on people, encourage, that does not mix. Okay. It's like oil and water. So guys, those couple of things that I shared with you are something that made our life so much easier. It took off like 1,000 pounds off my shoulder, guys. And I promise you that it is so worth it making those changes that you know you need to make of what's holding you back. It will not only take you to the next level, it'll catapult you. It'll like shoot you into the next level, making those changes, having a no excuse mentality, right? Leading from the front, right? And just making sure that you check your ego. Okay, guys. So I hope that helped, Mario. Wow. I'm so excited for the next one. So I cut my time short, but I hope that helped you guys.
That was amazing, Franny. Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful Hector got to see you, Franny, because I know he has a big smile on his face right now. And guys, we are his biggest students, guys. I'm telling you, we have the great